Hello everyone, it's your brother here, reaching you again with the word of God. As I receive it in its truth, I give it to you. Today's topic of teaching is approaching the confusion, part 7. The one man, one wife deception. Approaching the confusion, part 7. The one man, one wife deception in the churches. Today, we're going to dig it out. As the Lord spoke to the prophet Jeremiah, Jeremiah 1, verse 7 to 10. But Yahuwah said to him, "Do not say, I am a youth, for you shall go to all to whom I send you, and whatever I command you, you shall speak. Do not be afraid of their faces, for I am with you to deliver you." Then the Lord Yahuwah put forth his hand and touched my mouth. And Yahuwah said to me, "Behold, I have put my words in your mouth. See, I have set this day you over the nations and over the kingdom, to root out and to pull down, to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant." Today, we are going to uproot and throw down this deception, one man, one wife. This concept of one man, one wife all began in the Western world. To Africans like me, it was a new thing. It all began in the Western world. And nations in the Western world like Canada, United States, Australia, Germany, France, they have all made this a law. This ideology, they have made it a law. So it is illegal living in the Western world to have more than one wife. And they push it down to the throats of the poorer nations, Latin America, Caribbean, Africa, and we have also embraced it. But sadly enough, it's not just the nations, it's not just secular world, the church, because they did it through Christian church. And the church have embraced this ideology as a law given by God in the churches, that one man, one wife. You have so many women in the churches can't get husbands to marry and praying to God for God to drop men from heaven to come and give them. Is this law made by man or law of the Almighty? Today we're going to dig deeper and approach it out. We begin with Isaiah chapter 13. Isaiah chapter 29 verse 13. "Therefore Yahuwah said, inasmuch these people draw near with their mouths, and they honor me with their lips, but have removed their hearts from me, and their fear towards me is taught by the commandments of men." Their fear towards me is taught by the commandment of men. So this one man, one wife ideology that has become a law even in the churches. How do Christian churches support this? Let's go through some few verses that, in fact, all the verses that they use to support that according to the word, one man, one wife is God's law. Titus chapter 1, verse 5 to 6. Titus chapter 1, verse 5 to 6. "For this reason I left you in Crete," that's Paul speaking, "that you should set in order the things that are lacking and appoint elders in every city as I commanded you." Now, Paul is speaking to the church in Crete. He sent a letter to through Titus to the church in Crete. And Paul is saying, this is commandment I am commanding you. He didn't say commandment from God. Now, people take everything written in the Bible by Paul as the absolute truth. You must remember Paul was also a human being of flesh and blood, just like you and me. And he had also his limitations. So anything that contradicts the principle God laid down from the beginning, it is not coming from God. It is personal, as you see as you go around. If a man, verse 6, if a man is blameless, the husband of one wife, having a faithful children, and not accused of dissipation and insubordination, for a bishop must be blameless as a steward of God, not self-willed and a carriers, and on and on and on. So, if you are a bishop, you have to have one man, one wife. Okay, but it's a commandment coming from who? Paul, not the Almighty. The next verse, 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1 to 2. Now concerning the things which you wrote to me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. It is good for a man not to touch a woman. Again, Paul is writing this to the church of Corinth. Now, if a man does not touch a woman, it contradicts the mandate of God putting man on the earth for the first place in Genesis 21:28, where it says, he created the male and female and said, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Direct contradiction. If every man does not touch a woman, does not sleep with a woman, the generation that we are in wouldn't have existed. If you start that today, in 200 years at most, there will be no human being on planet Earth to fulfill God's purpose. Let's read on. Nevertheless, because of sexual immorality, let each man have his own wife, and let each woman have her own husband. This is Paul speaking, commandment made by man, not from the Almighty. The next verse, same chapter, verse 6 and 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 6 and 7. But I said this as a concession, not a commandment. He said that as a concession, his part of the argument. That is what it means. I'm saying that as my part of the argument. That's what I believe, not a commandment from God. For I wish that all men were even as I am. But each man has his own gift from God, one in this manner and one in the other. But I say to the unmarried and to the widows, it is good for them if they remain as I am. But if they cannot exercise self-control, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn with passion. He said to the widows and the unmarried from his time not to marry, if they can. And if every widow and every unmarried person from times Paul did not marry, did not have children, he wouldn't have existed. Again, contradicting God's mandate to man from the beginning. The next one, they say because of that, you cannot marry more than one. It's Matthew chapter 19, verse 4 to 6. This is Yahushua HaMashiach speaking, the one you call Jesus Christ. And he answered and said to them, have you not read that he who made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, for this reason a man shall leave his mother and wife, and he shall leave his father and mother, and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. And the two shall become one flesh. So this is direct quote from Genesis 1:27 and 28 and Genesis 2:24. So let's go there. Genesis 1:27 and 28. So God created man in his own image, and in the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it. Have dominion. Have dominion. Ladies and gentlemen, this thing all started because the devil has a plan. The moment God opened his mouth and said, have dominion, he knows God's purpose can be shown only through man on earth to give him glory, and he's after God's glory. So any number of people he will cut not to be able to born on planet earth, he sees his God's glory to be done through these people. So he comes out with idea, and all from the Western countries. One man, one wife is a law. So now they're pushing it to Ghana. They're pushing it to everywhere. If every man marry one, there are many women God has caused them to allow to be born on planet Earth and putting desire, sexual desire in every one of them, every one of us. And yet, they abnormal the men, and yet they cannot have husbands to marry. Why? Because the devil knows if he does not implant this confusion, this deception, especially in the church, and we marry, one man can marry more babies will be born. God's glory will multiply on earth. So one man, one wife. When that does not restrict the number of babies being born on earth, it brought what? Contraceptives to restrict the number of babies that will be born. If babies are still being born, okay, but when you get pregnant, cause abortion, kill the baby. And when that did not work, they still babies are being born, say, okay, man and man should marry. So now even the men are even more scarce to get, because man and man are married when the women are there, they don't have husbands. So where did God make this law in the entire Bible? Now let's go to the law that God put down concerning marriage. We'll start with Leviticus chapter 18. Leviticus chapter 18. Here God laid down all sexual moralities and immoralities, the one he likes and the one he despises, and laid them down and gave us warning about them. Okay, let's go through them one by one. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel and say to them, I am Yahweh your God. According to the doings of the land of Egypt where you dwell, you should not do them. And according to the doings of the land of Canaan where I am bringing you, you should not do them, nor shall you walk in their ordinances, for they are abomination to me. Let's jump to verse 7, 2 to 22. The nakedness of your father or the nakedness of your mother you shall not uncover. She is your mother. The nakedness of your father's wife you shall not uncover. The nakedness of your sister, the daughter of your father, you shall not uncover. The nakedness of your son's daughter you shall not uncover. The nakedness of your father's wife, daughter, you shall not uncover. The nakedness of your father's sister, you shall not uncover. The nakedness of your mother's sister, you shall not uncover. The nakedness of your father's brother, do not approach his wife. The nakedness of your daughter-in-law, you shall not uncover. The nakedness of your brother's wife, it is your brother's nakedness, you shall not uncover. The nakedness of a woman and her daughter, you shall not take her daughter to uncover her nakedness. They are near of kin to her, it is wickedness. Nor shall you take a woman as a rival to her sister to uncover her nakedness while the other sister is still alive. Also, you shall not approach a woman to uncover her nakedness as long as she is in her customary impurity. Moreover, you shall not lie carnally with your neighbor's wife. You shall not lie with a male as with a woman. It is abomination to me. These are the sexual laws that the Almighty, the Most High, gave to the children of Israel before they went to the land of Canaan. In it, there's no mention about God did not like man marry more than one. In it. When you go through the entire Bible, there is nowhere God has stated, himself has stated, not what Paul has stated, what the Almighty has stated, that you cannot marry more than one. And causes so much grief in the heart of many women in the churches, especially in the churches, following the commandment of men. You draw close to him, but your hearts are far removed from him because the commandments you follow are commandments made by men. These are the deceptions we are planted in the churches, in the Christian churches. We follow them to this day. And men could have married more to solve this problem, especially in the church, but the church has become even a burden to them. And they are praying to God. Like I said, throughout the Bible, I have also not seen anywhere God has punished anybody that he has married more than one. But let's get back to Leviticus chapter 18, specifically verse 18. These are the laws the Most High is giving to the children of Israel before they went to Canaan concerning marriage. Nor shall you take a woman as a rival to her sister to uncover her nakedness while the other sister is still alive. Right here, God is saying, you can marry more, you can marry more than one wife, but do not marry a sister to a sister, causing rivalry between them, while the other sister is still alive. Does that sound a God who does not want you to marry more than one? Commandments followed made by men. That's what you follow. Some say King Solomon was destroyed before because he married many women. Because King Solomon married many women. But is that true? Let's dig up the truth. 1 Kings chapter 11. Verse 1 to 3. But King Solomon loved many foreign women, as well as the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, the Ammonites, the Edomites, the Sidonians, the Hittites, from the nations of whom Yahuwah has said to the children of Israel, you shall not intermarry with them, nor shall you shall not intermarry with them, nor they with you. Surely they will turn away your hearts after their gods. Solomon clung to this in love, and he has 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turn away his heart. And his wives turn away Solomon's heart from the Almighty. Was that caused by many wives, or disobedient to God's instruction given to him, that you shall not marry foreign women? The Most High called David, King David, I have sought a man who is after my own heart. 1 Samuel. When he was about to give the kingdom to, take it away from Saul to give it to David. But now your kingdom, 1 Samuel chapter 13, verse 14, but now your kingdom shall not continue. The Lord Yahuwah has sought for himself a man after his own heart. And Yahuwah has commanded him to be commander over his people. This is how God described King David before even he became king. The man after God's own heart. Now, when David became king, before he left Hebron to Jerusalem, right before he was king over only Judah, living in Hebron, and they caused him to come and rule over the entire Israel, the northern kingdom and Judah, to unify them to become one people under the name Israel. So David came to Jerusalem. At that time, David already had 6 wives. David had 6 wives. Let's turn to 2 Samuel chapter 3, verse 2 to 5. Sons were born to David in Hebron. His first was Ammon by Ahinoam the Jezreelite. His second, Chileab by Abigail, the widow of Nabal. The third, Absalom, the son of Micah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. And the fourth, Adonijah, the son of Haggith. And the fifth, Shephatiah, the son of Abital. And the sixth, Ithrim, by David's wife, Eglah. These were born to David in Hebron. 6 wives before he became king. Now, when he became king and caused adultery, killed, he slept with Uriah's, the commander of his army, Uriah's wife, Bathsheba. And God sent Nathan, prophet Nathan, to David. This is a man who had already had 6 wives before he even came to be king in Israel. And when he came, God gave him all Saul's wives on top of that, and his concubines. All were at David's service as wives. And he still went for somebody's wife after somebody's wife, to the point that he even let them kill Uriah so he can marry Bathsheba. Look at what God, listen to what God said. Send Nathan to go and tell David, King David. 2 Samuel 12. Second Samuel chapter 12. verse 8. 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 8. And Yahuwah saying, the Almighty, the Most High is speaking to David, I gave you your master's house and your master's wife into your keeping, and gave you the house of Israel and Judah. If that had been too little, I also would have given you much more. After all the wives he had, the Almighty gave him all Saul's wives on top of that. And you are going after somebody's wife. And he said, if that was not enough, just ask me, I would have given you more. Does that sound like the God who hates polygamy? Who has made the law to us that we cannot marry more than one? It has not come from his mouth, nor his principles laid down. Israel as a nation was formed from a polygamous marriage. Israel as a nation. Jacob had two sisters as wives, Leah and Rachel, and their maidservants. These four women gave birth to 12 sons, which God chose to represent the 12 tribes of Israel. The God that does not like, that hates polygamy, why would he choose a polygamous marriage to form that nation? And through that, the fourth child, Judah, through that tribe of Judah came Yahushua HaMashiach, his son that he sent to come and deliver us from sin. His son came through that polygamous tribe, that marriage. When he laid down the laws concerning sexual immoralities in Leviticus 18, he never mentioned anything concerning you cannot marry more than one. But why is the church? The churches have made this law preventing many women who could have got husbands long time ago, with babies waiting to be born inside their womb. Why? Because you follow the commandments made by men, but not by God. That is why. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6 reads, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Women's hearts are burdened with grief. Many of them in the churches, they are praying honestly from their heart to have God to give them husband. God said the number of husbands, the number of men I have brought to this planet are more to satisfy every woman on earth. But for you have taken the commandments of men, so you are perishing. My people are perished. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So, does it mean that every man should marry more than one? The answer is no. I'm going to tell you why. God said, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, this three fathers of that he gave us, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, their marriages are finally written in the Bible. We know how they marry each wife. We know the type of marriage they married. Abraham had a wife, Sarah, before God called him. And when they were not able to, Sarah was not able to bear a child, Sarah gave Hagar to Abraham to sleep with her, and she bore Ishmael. And eventually, Abraham had to divorce Hagar. After Isaac was born, Sarah died. Abraham married again, Keturah, and had 4 children with her. So, if you are somebody who has married and divorced, or married and your wife has died, or whatever happened, you are single, you are also allowed to marry. When you remarry, you are the Abrahamic type. You are the Abrahamic type. Then you have those who also marry from their youth. The two will be together till they die. And they don't marry again. One died, the other will not marry again. Or they both die. You are the Isaac type. So I hear some people, pastors especially, and this is my wife, and I've married her for 45 years, 50 years. Okay, that is fine. But you are just one type. You are the Isaac. You are not Abraham. And then you have the Jacobs. The Jacobs, when they marry, they don't divorce. They keep adding. They keep adding and adding. You are Jacob type. So if you are the type that God has put in your heart to marry more, by all means, marry more. If you are the Isaac type, and you say one man, one wife, Isaac is one man, one wife. Follow one man, one wife. If you are Abraham type, and you divorce, you can find another woman. After all, God made out of man has 24 ribs. God took only one to make a woman. He can use every single rib to make another woman. So technically, a man, you can marry what? Up to 24? If you are the Jacob type. And the rib is the only bone in the human body, the 2 ounces body, that it can be taken out and regenerate by itself. So if you marry and you get divorced, you can also have another one to replace it. If you want to keep one man, one wife, so be it. But do not make it law, do not teach in your churches that God says so. Because God did not say so. God says, go ye and to the world and multiply, fill the earth, subdue it, have dominion. He did not say, like Paul said, because Paul did not marry, according to the scriptures, it is good for a man to not even to touch a woman. And if you are going to be an elder, you should marry have one man, one wife. Yeah, if you are going to be elder, but that was a commandment given to the church by Paul, not God. My people perish for lack of understanding, for lack of knowledge. Now I'll finish here with Revelation chapter 2, verse 12 to 15. Like I said, if you realize all this deception came from the Western world. Now, let's read Revelation chapter 2, verse 12 to 15. And to the angel of the church of Pergamos, write these things, says, he who has the sharp two-edged sword. I know your works, and where you dwell, where Satan's throne is. Where you dwell, that is where Satan's throne is. These sexual immoralities, that the Western world have made them law, and now you cannot speak against anything that is against what God has put down. Gay, transgender, abortion, one man, one wife, all of them restrict human population on earth. That is Satan's agenda, to cut off God's glory. So it said, you who dwell where Satan's throne is, and you hold fast to my name. Thank God for that. And do not deny my faith, even in the days with which Antipas and my faithful martyr, who was killed among you, where Satan dwells. But I have a few things against you, because you have dared those who hold the doctrines of Balaam. The doctrines of Balaam, who taught Balaam to put a stumbling block before the children of Israel, to eat things sacrificed to idols, and to commit sexual immoralities. This is all the work of Satan. One man, one wife. Or from the Western world, to restrict the population. That's number one priority of Satan. This you alone have those who hold the doctrine of Nicolaitans, which thing I hate. All these doctrines concerning gay, that Western churches, even pastors, are gay, and married man and man in the churches. In the Western world, it's the same Western world that started this one man, one wife, and through the churches, push it to the throat of Africans and many Latin American and Caribbean countries. And now, even Ghana is law. One man, one wife. God help us. So ladies out there who are sitting in the churches and praying day and night for God to drop men from heaven to come and marry you, God said, I have enough men on earth to satisfy every woman, to marry every single woman. Pray to God to give you understanding and direction, because God said it is not good for the man to be alone. I will give him a helper comparable to him. Find your helper. God bless you all, and stop living in deception.